Hello guys, good morning.
Morning.
I know we're still in the beginning of first weeks of the semester, and many of you don't know who I am, but I'm Mrs. Hill, for those of you that don't know me. Today, first before we get started, I want to make sure everyone have a pen or a pencil out, because I have an activity that I want you to go ahead and get started with first. And I want you to do what it says as clearly as possible. Don't worry about grammatical errors or anything like that. Just get it on paper and best if you can. You pass one over for me, please.
I don't eat peanut butter.
If you don't eat peanut butter, that is okay. If you, let's see, make a sandwich, period. Your favorite sandwich. How about that? I didn't take that into consideration. Some people do have nut allergies and probably have never made a peanut butter sandwich before.
I like to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Do you? So do I. What kind of jelly do you like?
Strawberry.
Awesome.
What kind do you like?
I like apple.
I'm a
Apple.
great girl.
I like apple. When you can find it, I love apple jelly.
I'm more of a Nutella person.
Some people, I don't know if put jelly with it, but I do like Nutella.
You make live.
I haven't touched jelly with Nutella. Sounds probably like diabetes. All right, guys, we're going to take a few more minutes. Please place your name on your paper also.
What if we cut off the crust?
That's fine. You can eat it however you choose.
So
Or
I will
make
put
it
that
however
down.
you choose.
So I can
That's
put down cutting
fine.
the crust.
I want you to do every detail to making your sandwich. Peanut butter, bologna, ham, turkey.
With peanut butter?
Some people like it. If you choose not to do peanut butter. So you're just going to make your sandwich. Okay, how many people do we have still writing?
Why is this important?
Well, you know what? I'm going to go into our lesson in just a moment. Okay? I'm going to tell you the whole purpose of this thing in just a moment. Okay. All right. So if you're still writing, that's okay. Go to the next slide.
Mr. Carr's in the technology department. Maybe he could help you.
Gotta get a hall pass.
Or being William.
No, you gotta go home paying for you. He wouldn't let me go to the bathroom.
That's okay. Now, what happens in Mr. Carr's class stays in Mr. Carr's class.
Oh, Mr.
Yes.
Carr, that flash drive that you removed, is that something that maybe made it not work?
No, it has nothing to do with it.
Pardon me, guys. Technology.
It has nothing to do with it.
Sorry, where you get? Mr. Carr messed up my stuff.
If you get it back, I'll have
Okay. Okay.
I can help. I have technology, I'm in the technology club too. Like listen.
I didn't know we had a technology club.
Yeah,
how do you get in
I'm
there?
in the technology club, we go around, we help teachers all around the school if they have issues.
I have never seen you, Susan, in the town.
Thank you. Now, how do I operate this? Just follow the arrow? You need a tech class for that?
I know, right? What's the
Third
third
one down.
Third one down is forward.
And then backwards is the other.
Okay. All right. So, moving forward, as if you didn't see the slide, what I've asked you to do was to write the instructions of making a sandwich, be it peanut butter or whatever your choice is. And the reason I ask you that is because I want to know if you pass that along to someone, will they be able to create the sandwich that you like? without it being necessarily a recipe, but would they be able to follow what you said or what you wrote down? So, yes, sir.
I don't understand.
What don't you
Cause you
understand?
said, you said stop looking this and, but you asked us for peanut butter.
For the moment, I asked you to stop looking and listen. Now I am asking for input.
Can I read my directions?
Yes, I would love for you to. Thank you for volunteering.
Thank you. So, this is for a peanut butter sandwich. This
Okay.
is what-
Nobody cares.
That's okay.
Well, I mean, I'm here. It's okay.
You're gonna listen
Listen
though this
forward.
time, you're gonna listen.
He is, because that's what I'm asking you to do. Go ahead and read.
You take out 2 slices of bread,
Okay.
you spread the peanut butter on each slice of bread, then lay the breads together and fold them shut.
That's how you make your peanut butter sandwich.
Yep.
Let's see.
If you use one slice of bread and fold it in, would that be okay?
That's still a
That's
sandwich.
still a
But
sandwich.
read to me how you made your sandwich.
I took 2 slices of bread and put peanut butter on it, bam.
That's it? That's it. Can someone else read to me how they make a sandwich?
I said, ask your mom, she'll do it for you.
Well, at some point, Mom may be at work or out running errands, and you're hungry. Easy way to make a sandwich. Who has another way of making a sandwich? Yes, ma'am.
Me?
Yes.
Okay. I said get 1 piece of bread,
Okay.
get out the peanut butter, get out a knife, put the knife into the peanut butter, lather the peanut butter on the bread, and then cut the sandwich in.
What is lather?
Spread.
Thank you.
Oh,
SAT word.
So, when we listen to the different instructions in terms of making a sandwich, show of hands between this young man and this young lady, which set of instructions were clear in terms of how to do it, following the directions? The young lady, Portia, okay. Would anyone else agree? Disagree?
I think both sides.
Well, you just like the way you made yours better. All right, thank you, Portia. I appreciate you volunteering and those others that volunteered. You know, I always have a little goodie bag, so take a treat. Volunteers, we like volunteers. Awesome. Okay, moving forward, we still don't know why Ms. Hill asked you to write the instructions for a sandwich. It might be the operator.
Great issues.
Third.
Oh, Susan, I guess that technology club is you paid
Would you like one, although your sandwich was really quick?
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
We're having problems again with technology, guys.
I think the school needs to get more
Well,
money.
you know, we could do some upgrading around here, but we have to work with what we have.
Yes.
It's probably something Susan done.
I told you she went in the technology club.
I swear, I know. It worked for Mr. Brown earlier. And Mr. Lewis.
Mr. Lewis is a PE teacher.
Still not. Okay, no problem. All right, moving forward, guys. All right, so here we have a picture of different events taking place on these 10 different pictures, I should say. So looking at those pictures, can anyone tell me, what do you think that is a picture of those people doing? They're doing something. What do you think they're doing? Yes, ma'am. Thank you for raising your hand. I appreciate it.
Thank you. These are all different ways to communicate.
Would we agree or disagree?
Agree.
We would agree. Most of us would agree. You are correct.
Do I get candy?
Yes, ma'am. You did.
Stole my
I appreciate that. All right, I'm passing out a sheet of paper here to each of you. Take my bacon and pass it down. Now, on that sheet of paper, these different ways of communicating have a number on each picture. What I'd like for you to do is number 1 through 10, or 10 going down, however you choose to do it, as long as it correlates to the numbers up on the board there. And what I'd like for you to do to the best that you can is tell me what you think each picture, what type of communication, or what form do you think they're using?
On all of them?
There are 10 different ones. I want you to write it down on your paper. Just write it.
Silently?
Yes, it's not a group assignment. Thank you for asking.
Ms. Silver,
Yes, please do, as long as you take your trash to the trash can when you leave.
I don't feel well.
You don't feel
I
well?
feel sick, so I think I should eat what he's doing.
Can I go to the nurse?
Let's see, you can go to the nurse. When you get ready to leave, I'll make sure I give you a pass to go to the nurse. I would like you to wait until I'm done with instruction, if you don't mind.
It's really, I really feel bad.
You feel that bad?
Oh.
Well, since you're not normally, out in the class, you're gonna be okay for a minute? Can you hold tight for about 5 minutes or so? Let me at least get through this portion of it? Okay.
can I move what she said?
Can you go, sweetheart? Move. I think she's gonna be okay.
I don't wanna get the floor.
Well, I understand, I don't need to, just monitor her. Make sure she doesn't fall out over there. Yes, sir.
And this,
Mm-hmm.
number 1, is the bird part of the communication?
It is part of the communication. The bird is part of the communication. The bird is part of the communication.
Yesterday.
Thank you for asking that question. You guys have such great questions. Yes.
Talking birds is normal.
All right, are we still writing?
Yes, ma'am, I have about 3 more.
Okay.
Doesn't number 10 look like he's throwing up in the other guy's face?
Yes.
That's funny.
That's pretty practical, I'd say. I don't quite see it that way. But they do seem to be really close, though.
Where's that coming from his mouth?
Those are words.
Oh.
They're supposed to be, well, they're not saying words, but it's like, have you ever, like sound, like on your iPod or something, it has like a little microphone or something.
What's the difference between 4 and 7?
Right.
4 and 7.
The device.
Thank you. Smart pants can't.
She's sick, she doesn't eat enough candy.
I'm eating so much, I'm sick.
Well, listen, I don't want you to be sick. I don't want you.
Not for real.
Cupcakes. Next period.
All right, let me see what's going on here, guys, so we can get through this assignment.
I'm ready now.
What's wrong, sir? Are we okay? Yes.
I'm writing, I'm thinking.
You're thinking? Okay. So, put your name on your paper, so you can have something to turn in at the end of the class. Girls, shh, let's bring it down, please. We still have someone trying to think. Yes, ma'am.
I'm confused, Miss Hill.
Just, you know what? I just want you to do the best that you can. This is not a test.
There are 2 Facebook signs.
Okay.
Well, there's a lot of people want one person.
So use your imagination. Think outside the box.
One's the old.
Think outside the box.
I
Yes.
heard you tell William that. I heard you tell William to put our names on it. Like, are you collecting these?
I am going to collect them. This is class participation.
This is a grade?
Yes, class participation.
Oh boy.
Are you doing your work?
I haven't been a rank leader though.
He's working on the tech club.
I guess I should rub my hands.
So we have to take an evidence, to show your parents of the work that you do or do not do. But you have to place your name on your paper and turn something in. If it's nothing, it's a blank sheet of paper, as long as your name is on it.
Smart things that you'll know this.
Not like FaceTime or something?
So later in the PowerPoint, we will see what all these different pictures mean. Are we ready to move forward?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so moving forward, someone told me that the pictures represented communication. And I agree, that is exactly what that picture represented. Now what I'd like for you to do is, once again, write your name on this strip of paper. And I want you to write down what you think communication is. What is communication?
Can we look at our devices?
Meaning for the answer?
Because I was
No.
gonna get the dictionary.
But I just want you to tell me what you think it is. Write down what you think communication is.
More writing?
In your own words.
My
Oh, this
mom
is little
downloaded
writing.
dictionary.com.
Tomorrow
on
we're
my
gonna do
phone.
more writing. What's that?
My mom downloaded dictionary.com to my phone, and every time
That
I say
is
something wrong, she makes me
a
look
great
it up.
app to have. That is a great app to have. But for right now, I am gonna tell you the definition in just a moment, so you don't need to use your own device for that.
Thank you, Miss Evans.
Are we handing all this stuff in?
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we
You-
gonna get credit for each of these?
You are gonna get credit for each assignment that I've asked you to do. Those 3 different assignments,
I was on 100.
you deserve 100.
Mhm.
Okay. It's class participation. If you participate, you will get 100. All right, so we have, are we done yet?
Yes.
Okay, so, can I get a volunteer? Yes.
I want some candy.
Thank you.
You thought you said.
What is communication?
I said an exchange of information.
An exchange of information. That's good. Anyone have anything else to add on, or?
By what means, Laura?
Well, do you have something else to add on?
Yes, I do.
Well, please do.
An exchange
Well,
of.
stop, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I hate to interrupt you like you did me, but that's okay. I need you to raise your hand. I need you to raise. It's okay, don't be upset. I love you anyway. Yes. What is communication?
Communication is talking to myself when there is no one to talk to.
That's sad.
Now, that is a form of communication. You can answer yourself?
Absolutely.
Okay, anyone else?
That was a song.
Yes.
Sending and receiving messages between 2 or more parties.
Read that again, please.
Sending and receiving messages between 2 or more parties.
Very good, very good. You know, all of you, I was, well, you know, that's just a great.
That's why I got A in this class, and you don't.
All right, so let's move forward. What is communication? So, the whole point of us doing this assignment is so that we can learn some tools as we move through this course and be prepared to go out into the workforce. I know some of the objectives here are saying we're using Microsoft Word. We won't use that today because we're not in the lab to use it. However, you're going to be able to demonstrate the understanding of effective business communication skills by identifying the multiple ways of communicating, okay? All right, so, communication, the act or process of using words, okay? Did some of you say that in your definition of communication? Yes.
What about nonverbal communication? Those aren't words.
What about it?
Body language.
They're not words? I don't disagree with you. I didn't say this was the only way of communicating. This is just a way of communicating.
Okay.
The
My
act
bad.
or process of using words. The act or process of sound
Oh.
that we would have had, but there's some technology issues.
No, I think there could be. Just turn the microphone or the speakers up.
I'm not singing or anything,
Taste.
but just, you know,
Technology.
a little extra. Okay, so the act or process of using sounds, okay? Then we have the act or process of using signs. Sure some of you are familiar with those signs. Any drivers in here? No drivers? Riders, I'm sure. Okay, I'm sure you've seen some of those signs along the way.
I failed the driving test.
Get a second check.
Well, it could be quite
Wait 2
difficult
weeks
if
to
you're
take
not
it.
used to following the signs on the road. All right, then we have the act or process of using behaviors to express your ideals, thoughts, or feelings to someone else. Okay, happy, sad, guilty, angry.
Chanel, didn't you date that guy, the angry guy?
Susan, I'm gonna need you to stay on task, okay? I need you to stay on task. definition. It is the act or process of using words, sounds, signs, or behaviors to express or exchange information or to express your ideals, thoughts, feelings, etc. to someone else. Someone else.
Oh,
Yes, question.
I thought Portia said that you could talk to yourself as well.
Portia also said that she answered herself.
Is there something wrong with it?
You have two people there. I mean, I don't know. It's that. I wouldn't say there was anything wrong
I'm
with
the
that.
only child.
Talk to your mom about it. I'm an only child too. I just don't answer myself though.
What's the difference?
Multiple persons. I mean, but it's, so, I don't know
Yes.
if that's communication or not, because it's not to someone else, it's to yourself.
Well, I don't know if I'd be that technical about it, but I don't know, maybe Portia considers herself someone else. She answers, so
Yeah.
maybe she is another person.
Right. I wonder.
The good one, then you got the bad one over here. She asks the question and the answer, so, you know, I guess it probably depends on how she's feeling that day.
Yeah, that's deep.
It's pretty deep, depends on, you know, hey, how she feels that day, I guess. So then, let's look. Someone asked about verbal and nonverbal communication. Nonverbal, you are absolutely right. There is nonverbal communication. Here we have verbal being visual. Then we have verbal also being non-visual. Then you have your nonverbal. If you go straight down, you have nonverbal being visual, and you also have nonverbal being non-visual. And if you look at the different examples in the rectangles here, under verbal being visual, it says written forms of communication, face-to-face communication, and language. Yes, sir. You have your hand up. Yes.
If you're
Now,
right,
Mr. Carr,
yes, ma'am.
I really want you to answer, but I want to make sure that you stay on task with your.
Yes, ma'am. If you're riding with your parents
Yes, sir.
and they're driving down the road and someone pulled in front of them, all of a sudden, is waving their hand, not using all of their hands as a nonverbal.
Meaning using their hands to talk without.
No, ma'am. They raise their hand,
Like
but
throwing up gang signs?
they don't use all their hands. Just part of their hand.
Well,
Like the middle
hands can be a form of nonverbal communication. Thumbs up. Good job. Thumbs down.
Well, where I'm from, there's a lot of gang activity, and a lot of
Yes.
people do gang signs. Is that communication?
As communication for that group of people, yes. Not necessarily right, but it is a form of communication. that we do. So, we have verbal visual. Can anyone give me an example of verbal visual? Something that's written face to face.
Skype.
Yes.
Skype.
Skype.
Number 9 in the pictures.
Number 9 in the picture.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's stay focused. Okay, so we have Skype as a verbal visual. Can anyone give me an example of nonverbal?
The look on your face, Miss Hill.
Thank you. That would be nonverbal body language. Sometimes our body language gives off good or bad communication signals. Okay? So we have to be careful with that. That's very important when you're going out into the workforce. How you present yourself with your body language. Okay? Nothing like sitting in a meeting and people are looking at their clock, their watches, or their phones and just showing some really bad body language communication. All right, then we have your nonverbal. Nonverbal, non-visual. You have recorded messages, announcements, and telephone. Yes, ma'am.
So, how do you know if you have bad body language?
That's a good question.
Like, you don't have a mirror in front of you, so how do you know?
Well, you know what? One thing in particular we're going to do is we're going to practice that. We're going to do some interviews and different things so that your peers can pretty much judge you in terms of how you handle situations with your body language, your facial expressions, and things of that nature, your hand movement, probably like that I'm doing. So And then it's something probably that you have to just probably be more conscious in terms of how you're presenting yourself with things. I don't know, go and look in the mirror, make smiles, sad faces, just so that when you're communicating with people, you can make sure that you put on a happy face. All right, then we have your non-verbal visual, meaning music at work or in customer contact, shops, bars, hotels, things of that nature. Any questions so far? All right, so let's move forward. And we are almost at the, wait. Well, that's fine. Okay, so let's go back to that piece of paper that I asked you to pull out in the beginning. And I want you to take a look at your answers and look on the board and just pretty much see how you did. If you got all 10 right, raise your hand. Okay. If you have all 10 right, raise your hand. Yes.
Who sends letters anymore?
That's what I'm gonna say.
Letters, who sends letters? There are letters for, in business. You send letters to your customers or whoever you're trying to reach.
The 49-cent stamp.
I think I have all
That's
of
why I
them
don't send
right.
letters.
Awesome. Okay.
I was raising my hand.
All right. Well, if you have all of those correct,
One minute I have all
I'm
of
going to
them.
give you 2 pieces.
He's cheating. Giselle, he's cheating. Don't give him the candy, he cheated.
2 pieces of
I have
candy.
all of them.
All right. I'm going to make sure I check yours, and we're going to go over those in just a second.
You just wrote them down 2 seconds ago.
You did.
I'll just have one.
Okay.
William
You
is
don't want
cheating.
chocolate. I mean, next time you should bring more chocolate.
She already said-
Oh, look at you. Take what I have. You put some money in the pot, I'll be sure to get you some chocolate. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. These are some forms of nonverbal communication here that represent some of that body language that we were talking about, that Portia asked about, how do you know what your body language is? And if you look at some of these things here, you move your head, it's nonverbal. Shrug your shoulders, things like that. Tomorrow, we're going to get more into doing some activities with some of this communication. I think tomorrow we're going to start writing doing some writing, different types of letters that you would need to know how to write business letters. That is a form of communication. So, guys, it's time to go. Let's wrap it up. Hold tight. Pass your papers up to the front, please. Thank you. I see you all tomorrow.